Dear viewers, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to give you a simple formula on how to create melodies. As a full-time music production coach, mentor, teacher, I don't even know what to call myself anymore. I see that a lot of people who come to learn from me struggle with this little thing called music, because basically it turns out that most people, when they learn from YouTube, what they learn from other producers is sound design. And when you know sound design, but you don't know how to apply it, that is just not helping. So that's why with many of my students, a lot of the time we spend is me fixing their melody. Actually, when you think about it, making melodies is kind of like maths, because you only have like 10 digits in math, but the ways you can apply them is infinite. And there are ways that you can apply them that is kind of useless, but there are also certain ways that are really working, and those things we call mathematical equations or formulas and stuff like that. So today I'm going to give you a very simple 2 plus 4 2 plus 2 equals 4 type of a formula that works every single time if you learn how to apply it, and it's called call 1, response 1, call 1, response 2. Let's open our digital audio workstations and we will create a simple melody. You can use any tool for that, it will work. But just to make this video a bit more interesting, I'm going to actually create a cool lead sound. We're going to use a bunch of squares and a sawtooth layer to make that modern drum bass kind of a main stage drum bass kind of a lead. So we will try and use a slightly different square for the first oscillator, maybe this one called BSOD square. Now what I want to do is open a noise oscillator, remove the level from it, and instead what we're going to do is we're going to filter our oscillator A by the noise. We're going to use the frequency modulation noise oscillator option right here. And we need it to be around 50-60%. Let's see how it sounds. Now next thing I want to do is add a sawtooth. So I'm going to open oscillator B, create a lot of unison voices, and make it a bit quieter in the background. All we need it for is to help the other layers kind of sound a little bit more wide and interesting. But you don't need it to be really audible, it's just really quiet in the background. Now we will open a sub-oscillator right here and choose a square wavetable. So we have something like this. Now next thing we want to do is open a filter, choose high 24, and use the oscillator A and oscillator B to apply a high pass. Now we have this type of a sound, which is pretty cool. Now I want to add a little bit of a soft clipper here. Add a compressor in the multiband mode to make it much more powerful. It's like a really cool maximizer. Let me pull down the master a little bit. Next thing you want to do is probably do a little bit of delay, but make sure it's not very hard on the high end, because it will start interacting and interfering with your main notes, because they will be doubling. So make sure it's a little bit low passed, kind of like this. Now reverb, just a little bit of reverb. It's going to be... Now at this point I want to create a melody, and I want to point toward a video by Winslow on how he produced on Swung Hero. So the idea behind his track is that he said he went to hospitality, came back with all these ideas. He said that he goes to festivals to kind of get more fresh ideas, and then he starts to making his songs. And he actually pointed to a very specific track in that video where he said, like, I wanted to make something like this. And, you know, it didn't come to sound the same, but it was the track that he used as inspiration. And that is really the truth about how melodies are made. You just listen to other people's melodies, you like something, and you try to do something similar. So, of course, for me, it's a little bit easier because I have already tried with my fingers to play on the MIDI like 100 million times, different melodies, right, that I've heard. And this is a very good exercise for you as well. Just try to make like... at least with one finger, you need to play the fundamental note with your left hand and do a little bit of solo with your right hand. This is really how you create melodies. So you can choose like a chord like this, like an F or something, like F minor. For example, this, right? And all of these notes, actually your software can help you out with this, I think. You don't even need like a real musical ear for this. You can just ask it to like make a chord for you. I've never done this really, but I know that you can do this in FL Studio and everywhere else. So it's not a big problem. But what you want to do is you want to create an imitation of a sub bass, because you cannot create a guitar solo on top of nothing, right? You have to at least imagine where the melody is going in your head. And a lot of the times, a guitar solo makes so much more sense when it is played together with a bass note. So we will just do a 4 on the floor type of a sub note in the same lead. It doesn't even matter. And what we want to do is we want to make a short 4-bar melody that switches a little bit. And we have all these notes right now from the F minor chord, so we can just try and move this note around every 4 notes. Let's try going from F to D sharp, for example. Now maybe A4, I don't know really. Let's just try it. Actually A2. Oh, it's A sharp, okay. And now let's go to C5, C3. I'm just using the same notes as they are here, but just an octave, bunch of octaves lower. You can see that. So now what we are left with is the solo, the lead melody. And basically we will want to go a bit higher in the octave to kind of give some space to these lower notes. And now we want to make a call. And please try to make a call shorter than your response. So let's say we're gonna use a G sharp. Let's go doot doot doot, like clap clap doot doot doot, this kind of a vibe. And now the response has to be a bit more complicated. So let's try to make a more complicated response. But it's actually about the groove right now, because you kind of know the notes, right? So it's not that hard. Let's go. Let's try C sharp. And now let's make the same call, which is call 1. Once again, the formula is call 1, response 1, call 1, response 2. And we will copy the same response, because the truth is that you want to keep the rhythm very, very similar to response 1. So the response should be kind of similar, but slightly different. So let's see what we can do here. And we will also keep these notes as a memo right here. So let's see. I need to go an octave lower. Actually, I will go an octave higher so I can improvise a little. Let's try like this maybe. Uh-oh. Did I get it wrong? Yeah. You see? This is kind of how you can create a melody just using helping chords. And now, really, you don't even need to see those chords. You can see I deleted them, because if we want, we can repeat the same cycle, but right here, we can do a small variation. This is also like not something that was in our chord. It's just I know that this note works. And you can do this also. It's not hard. So now, to put things in perspective, I've created a bunch of drums, and what I want to do is I want to extract the low note from here and create a layer with mid basses and sub basses. So I will just copy it, delete it, and paste it into my mid bass layers. And we're gonna add like a sub bass underneath, a separate layer. Also, I'm oversimplifying right now, so don't actually do it exactly like this. There are other videos on my channel that will help you to create a really nice sub basses and mid basses. This is really oversimplified right now. But at least what you're gonna hear right now is that the melody kind of sounds like a drum and bass melody, so let's hear it. The way I look at this melody is that it's a 4-bar melody, not an 8-bar melody, right? Because essentially it's doing the same thing twice, almost like this is a 4-bar melody and a 4-bar melody variation. That's how I look at it. I don't look at it as 8-bar melody. So that type of like perception shift is also essential because it simplifies things. It puts them into smaller groups. If you actually think of this as an 8-bar melody, you start instantly to going like into advanced thinking mode, and you want to like, oh, now I want to change some notes here. I want to change something here. I want to do some, but that's because you think of it as of an 8-bar melody, because that response in the ad confuses you, but it's actually just call, response 1, call, response 2, restart, call, response 1, call, and variation, response 3. Now, I really hope this video helped you out, guys. If you want to learn more about creating music, hit me up, join my Discord, send me a message. I am mentoring full-time. The price is 20 euros per hour. I give out a lot of my preset packs, sample packs for free to all of my students, and I support you on my free time as well because this is my full-time job. And yeah, I'll see you around. Thank you for watching.